Hello and welcome in, Vikings fans. It is an exciting day. It's been an exciting 24 hours. We have a lot to discuss here. I thought I was going to be doing a video this afternoon about just one free agency signing because we got a player last night right before the Timberwolves tipped off against the Rockets. By the way, how was that finished? 22-0 run at the end there. Wow, incredible. I was shocked. I was feeling down during that game. But man, that's why you stick through all four quarters and you don't leave home to beat traffic. That was exciting. But anyway, I tweeted out that we had one free agency signing, which was Mackensie Alexander, who we're going to get to in a minute. And I was like, okay, that's great. I'll make a video tomorrow. Timberwolves are going to tip off. I want to watch the game. And then more great stuff happened. And it's just been an exciting 24 hours if you are a fan of the Minnesota Vikings, because this feels like they're finally getting things done, right? Like we had the first wave where we did a few signings where we're like, okay, yeah, that's good. Don't really know about that. But these last two, I think, are the best. I think these are both home runs. This is exactly what I wanted. And you can't really beat what's going on here. So there are some things that we need to discuss that are not so great at the end of the video. But for right now, we're going to cover the two most recent free agency signings by the Minnesota Vikings. Number one yesterday, Mackensie Alexander leaves for 1 year to go to the Cincinnati Bengals, comes back to the Minnesota Vikings this year for the 2021 season on a 1-year veteran minimum deal. That is theft. That is highway robbery. That is an excellent job by Rick Spielman and the Vikings to bring in a reliable slot corner to solidify this secondary and just absolutely get away with it. This is a crime. This is walking into the bank, waving flags, and getting all kinds of attention and walking out with a sack of money. That's phenomenal. So yeah, it's a 1-year veteran minimum deal, reliable slot corner. Mackensie Alexander knows the system. Last year, a little bit of a down year playing in Cincinnati, 60.4 overall PFF grade, 67.2 coverage grade, 519 out of 642 snaps in the slot. That's what he's going to be doing. That's why they brought him back. Then, if it couldn't get any better than that, we have a free agency signing that actually addresses a vacant hole that we've been talking about that we need to do in free agency and not the draft. Xavier Woods comes into the Minnesota Vikings from the Dallas Cowboys on a 1-year, $2.25 million potential contract. Base salary $1.25 million, $500,000 signing bonus. That is all fully guaranteed. He has another $500,000 in incentives, but those are unlikely incentives, things that he probably won't reach. So while the deal is potentially worth $2.25 million, he will be a cap hit of $1.75 million. Had to spend a little bit to get him. The Vikings reportedly offered him veteran minimum, as they did Will Parks, another free agent safety. They went the extra step to get Xavier Woods, and I am completely satisfied with the signing. Did he have a little bit of an off year last year as well? Yeah, 61.9 overall PFF grade, 55.2 grade in the run defense category, 62.4 grade in coverage, 382 snaps in the box last year, 349 in free safety, 171 in the slot. I believe that he will play more as a single high free safety alongside Harrison Smith, because they're going to do the two high safety defense. I think they're going to get back to that, having done what they've done to retool this defense in the past 2 weeks. So I don't anticipate him to be up in the box all that much. So Xavier Woods, Mackensie Alexander, the secondary depth for this team is now really good. We went from 2 weeks ago to having potentially one of the, I don't want to say worst, but one of the bottom secondaries statistically in the league. And I know Cam Dantzler and Jeff Gladney are good, but who else was there? You know, Harrison Smith, Dantzler, Gladney, and then it was just a collection of bad ideas. We were looking at a potential scenario where Josh Metellus, a former 7th-round pick from last year, or 6th-round pick, 6th or 7th-round pick, I forget, could wind up as a starter. Thank God that is not the case, and the Xavier Woods signing erases that possibility. So the secondary depth, as of today, as of this recording, who knows? Maybe they sign another corner. Have you seen the meme where Mike Zimmer is slapping the car and says you could fit so many defensive backs in here? That could potentially it could potentially turn into a clown car. Harrison Smith, Patrick Peterson, Xavier Woods, Cam Dantzler, Mackensie Alexander, Jeff Gladney, Mike Hughes, Chris Boyd. That's a great secondary. Wow. Well, like they managed to do this. Not only does it look good on paper, but they've done it on the cheap. You have Gladney, Dantzler, rookie contracts, 1-year deal. Patrick Peterson, 1-year deal. Xavier Woods, 1-year deal. Mackensie Alexander. This is phenomenal, team building for a 1-year run to get the defense back to a top 10 unit. And I think that they might actually achieve that. And yeah, the defense looks like it's going to be better this year. So having said that, check out the potential starting lineup, the starting 11 for the defense for the Minnesota Vikings as of right now. Harrison Smith, Xavier Wood are your safeties. Peterson, Dantzler are your outside corners. You got Mackensie Alexander in the slot. And then you've got your 2 linebackers, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks. Your defensive line would include Danielle Hunter, Michael Pierce, return from injury / opt-out. Dalvin Tomlinson is your initial free agent splash that you got this year. And then Stephen Weatherly, another guy that is returning after 1 year away from the Minnesota Vikings. So that's good. I mean, we managed to, we have to step back. I know that there's problems on the offensive line. I know that. I know the left tackle is non-existent right now. I know that there is a hole at left guard. There's been a hole at left guard for years. I am just as upset about that as everybody else is. And I think that that needs to be addressed. But the good news is that they're getting veterans in free agency, and they can address the draft, or they can address the offensive line in the guard. Because let's face reality, the Vikings aren't the kind of a team that's going to shy away from filling holes in the draft while other teams are drafting for value. They've done it before in the past. I mean, we've seen it with the Garrett Bradbury selection. Yes, you do end up reaching in that scenario, but that is typically how they handle the draft. They're like, okay, we have holes to fill. Who's the best player available at this position? Let's go do it. So, but just to get back and circle back to the defense, this looks great. I mean, they were able to retain Anthony Barr with a contract restructure. They've got Eric Kendricks, who is one of the more underrated middle linebackers in the league. For how much longer, I don't know. The Harrison Smith could still be restructured at some point. They bring in Xavier Woods to play opposite of him, solidify the secondary with experience in Patrick Peterson, and even institutional experience with Mackensie Alexander. What does this mean long term? Well, there's 2 takeaways that I have from this. Number one, well, actually 3. Number one, I think the free agency strategy here has become clear. The Vikings went into this looking for players on defense specifically to bring in who didn't exactly live up to their expectations in 2020. Stephen Weatherly goes to the Panthers, plays in however many games, doesn't perform as a starting defensive end. I know I have him listed up here as a starting defensive end. That's probably going to change, but if I had to pick right now, he would be the one that I would pencil in as the starter, opposite of Danielle Hunter. Same thing with Mackensie Alexander. He goes to another team for 1 year, doesn't perform all that great, but still is a main contributor. Patrick Peterson has what they would call a down year. Xavier Woods has an off season. They're getting and collecting these veteran guys who had so-so or down years, giving them a 1-year prove-it contract, coming in to rebuild a defense with tools already available, led and schemed by a defensive-minded head coach, Mike Zimmer. So this is a pretty interesting strategy and how to build a defense. Takeaway number 2, for the Kirk Cousins stands and the Mike Zimmer defenders, this is it. This is your opportunity to shine. All we heard last year were the excuses that the defense wasn't good enough, that it didn't have the players that it needed. We are basically getting back Danielle Hunter, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. Get Michael Pierce back from the opt-out. The secondary gets solidified with Xavier Woods, Patrick Peterson, Mackensie Alexander comes in, a guy that already knows the system. There's no excuses. On paper, obviously there's going to be injuries, there's going to be growing pains, there's going to be issues. We should get a full off season, hopefully. Hopefully that goes as planned. And then you have veteran guys coming in to really solidify this defense to return it to a top 10 unit. I don't want to hear excuses about this anymore. Okay? So if this doesn't work out, I believe that we could see the end of the Zimmer era in Minnesota if this defense doesn't work out. So that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. From a defensive perspective only, I'm very excited about this. The offense, yes, I'm super bummed that we still don't have a left tackle or a left guard. I'm hearing rumors that Austin Blythe is expected to sign pretty quickly. Hopefully what this does is that it gets the motivation going. People get fired up about this in the locker room because I think on paper, this is pretty good. So let me know what you think again in the comments below. I will see you in the next video.